सुशीला अति प्रियशीला यह सुख परम अनूपा सुन बचन सुजाना रोदन खाना कोई बालक सुरभूपा यह चरित गावहि हरिपद पावहि तेन परारि बसूपा हरि भगत कृपाला दीन दयाला कौशल्या हितकारी हरि महाकारी मनहारी अद्भुत रूप विरारी प्रेम से बोलो श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. That it says that gracious Lord who is compassionate and who is the benefactor of Kausalya appeared in his marvelous form, which steals the hearts of the sages, fills a mother with joy. His body was dark as a cloud, delight in all of his eyes, in which the Vedas say that every pore of his body contains multiple universes, brought forth Maya. That Lord stayed in the womb, but Bhagwan doesn't stay in the womb really and truly. Bhagwan allows that mother to undergo all of that, all of the symptoms of that pregnant one, and at that time of birth appears. You never hear that Bhagwan is born really and truly. You never actually hear that he is coming out and he is born into the world. But the one who asks of his birth, who requests of it, they become, at some point in time, disillusioned, and Bhagwan appears before them. And so having such good company, having the company of the sages, the saints, and all of that, creates great communion, great satsang amongst all of us. And we are able to experience such beauty. Many a time, people ask the question that, aren't all of these books written by a man? That is the most grave mistake you could make. In the Vishnu Sastranam it says, Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasaya Vishnave Namo Brahmanidaya Vishnave Pravishnave. That the very essence of Vyas Muni is Bhagwan Vishnu, and the very essence of Bhagwan Vishnu is Vyas Muni. It is Bhagwan Sri Krishna, Bhagwan Vishnu, who is the one who speaks. And it is also Bhagwan Vishnu incarnate who also pens the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita by default, because it is a portion of the Mahabharata. And so, looking at all of these factors, satsang, communicating with one another, understanding more about our great dharma, it enables us to see that there is greater light within our dharma. We think that we can look outside for the solutions, but our dharma teaches us to look inside for those solutions. Look inside for that truth. That truth which is undefined. That truth cannot be truly defined. Surdas says beautifully, he says that tasting the graces of Sri Hari is like a dumb man trying to explain to you the sweetness of that fruit. Have any of you smelt a flower or a whole flower garden? Maybe just me. That air comes over the just me, and you smell that just me. It is said that our Atma is just as the air. Our Atma is just as the air is. It is ever pure. But that Atma, when it comes in contact with the Jasmine, with that field of flowers, it assumes that sweet fragrance. But that same Atma that passes over garbage takes the scent. It imbues all of the characteristics of garbage, so too is each and every one of us. If we want our lives to be that which is beautiful, if we want our lives to be that which is great, then it is incumbent upon us to surround ourselves with that Jasami. Who is the Jasami? The Jasami are the saints and sages. The Jasami are those enlightened individuals that lend us a helping hand, that uplift us, that sustain us. That is the beauty of satsang, that you can't get just by being on your own. Because otherwise you're just the ear, regular. But when you associate with the Jasami, when you associate with the sages, and you associate with Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra, or that divine Purusha in any form, then what happens? Our lives become sweet and fragrant like dew. What is the third quality that we should all have? We should all have awareness. Awareness of who and of what? Awareness of what we are, what our purpose is. It comes back in a full circle. We should be aware of our surroundings, be aware of what we do. Because everything that we do, why do we even touch someone's feet? Anyone know the reason? Those who are in physics would know that when we touch someone's feet, all of the electrons that you would have touched or encountered anywhere you go, all of those electrons remain grounded at the feet. And when you touch someone's feet, it is not just out of respect, but it's because you want to gain those electrons. You want to gain those positive vibrations. That is the purpose of why we touch someone's feet. And in order for that person to bless you, then there must be a transfer of energy. Bhagavan Sri Krishna has said, nothing has never existed. O Arjuna, we have always existed. We will continue to exist. Because energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is transferred. And so, such a great dharma we come from, that the very essence of physics, the very essence of scientific law is grounded in this dharma. So awareness. So we have three so far. We should have a higher purpose. We should have higher purpose in terms of our dharma, in terms of our thinking, all of these things. Our sankalp, communion in the case of satsang, and awareness in our consciousness. Now, we have many debates about who is great, who is not great. This fourth one is about acceptance. I always ask each and every person, who is most important to you? Your garbage man? Your attorney? Your accountant? Who? And that answer is, it all depends. Depends how badly you need them at that particular time. When this entire cosmos was created, who is the mouthpiece of Bhagwan? That doesn't mean that the feet aren't equally as important. If you think your feet are so impure, then try walking without feet. Each and every one of us have a great part to play in this society. And if we don't play that part, then we succumb to all of the negative things to happen to us in old age. When there is no strength left in the body, when there is no vigor left in the body, and when we can no longer propagate goodness. Because if you propagate goodness while you can, when Brihaspati is ruling, everyone knows that when Brihaspati is ruling for each and every one of us, it is our golden ages. And when Brihaspati rules, then it is the time that we ought to do the best that we possibly can do, because the right environment is put there so that we can grow. And after Brihaspati rules, what happens? Shani rules. Shani can make a man, depending on how we are born in our birth charts, can make a man from a king into a beggar, and a beggar into a king. But it all depends on what we have previously done in time and place. Those impressions we have made in time and place have come to bear fruit under the particular circumstances, under the right environment. So let us take this example. We take mango tree, we take a mango seed, and we put it into the soil to grow. And that mango seed, under the right circumstances, flourishes. And we have sweet things to have. That same seed, we put Karila there, we have that bitterness to also enjoy. But if we were to take the mango seed and ask for Karila, and Karila seed and ask for mango, then we are not following the laws of nature. A mango seed is to grow mangoes. We've planted the seed, so it must bear fruit. However, what does Tulsidas say about this? Or many of the sages say about this? They say when one has negative tendencies or there's something negative to happen, if you take that same seed and you plant it in the desert, it has no real way to grow. Then what happens? That seed eventually dies. Same thing that happens when we put the right environment for goodness to grow, or we put the wrong environment for badness or negative things to dissipate. So when we look at acceptance, understand that each and every one of you has an important part to play in this dharma. Whether it is teaching bhajans, whether it is teaching religious dance, whether it is teaching how one should conduct oneself, whether it is teaching the philosophy, we all have a place and a part to play. Whether it is cleaning up the mandir, all of these things can be done with the justification of saying that it is in the name of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra. And so, having acceptance as cells recognize each and every one of the different cells as equally important. Because functionality determines the importance of that situation. Everyone understands? That is to say that the Pandit is only important when he is performing his yajna. The Kshatriya is important when he is protecting each and every one of us and adhering to the rule of law. The Vaishya is providing all of the necessary crops. And all of those who serve, they have an important part within society. And so, if we are able to be karma yogis, what does Bhagavan Sri Krishna say about the karma yogi? He tells Arjuna, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam pakta dhananjaya siddha asiddhiyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. That, O Arjuna, perform your duty to the best of your ability, with your mind attached to me, abandoning all of your worry and selfish attachment to the results. Remain calm in both success and failure. The equanimity of your mind is karma yogi. So when each and every one of the cells in your body is performing a function, they are not performing it because they like you. They are performing it because it has to be done. It is essential that they perform their function so that you survive. It is essential for each and every one of you to perform your functions within society so that our dharma can flourish. That this great culture that we have come from, although the Mesopotamians have died out, the Egyptians have died out, so many other cultures have died out, we have not died out and we will continue to live on. It is said in Bhagavatam that by the end of this age, that this age has 432,000 years to rule. Kali Yuga. We finished about 5,200 or so years, 5,300, somewhere between there. By the end of this age, that Vedic knowledge will no longer be noted as that Vedic knowledge which exists today. That they would have that knowledge, but they'd call it something else, just as they've done with physics, just as they've done with many other sciences. And just to talk about physics, when we talk about the creation of this universe, this cosmos, how does it say that this cosmos was created? In the Vedas it says that in the beginning there was nothing. There wasn't even space. But from this nothingness, everything came to be. Well, the quantum physicists say the very same thing. However, they omit one thing. They omit the law of consciousness. Some of them have gradually come to accept it, but it hasn't been universally accepted. According to the Vedas, from nothingness, everything has come because this consciousness, this Shiva, began to think, and the reverberations of those thoughts created the cosmos. It is something for us to think about, that every thought, every impression that we make in this time and space comes to bear fruit. It comes to have a creative force to it. And so, everything that you want is within your reach and within your grasp. However, what do you need to do? You need to visualize it. You need to have that sankalp, have your aims, goals and objectives solidified. So all of your decisions subconsciously start being made just for the accomplishment of that one goal. And through the accomplishment of that one goal, all of these other goals are also being fulfilled simultaneously. To that divine Bhagavan Sri Krishna, we sing a short dhun. चलो सखी वृंदावन चलिए मोहन बेन बजाओ रे चलो सखी वृंदावन चलिए मोहन बेन बजाओ रे चलो सखी वृंदावन चलिए मोहन बेन बजाओ रे चलो सखी वृंदावन चलिए मोहन बेन बजाओ हरे ब्रह्मादिक संतादिक मोहे मोहन बेन बजाओ रे चलो सखी वृंदावन चलिए मोहन बेन बजाओ रे चलो सखी वृंदावन चलिए मोहन बेन बजाओ रे चलो सखी वृंदावन चलिए मोहन बेन बजाओ प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण चंद्र गान की जय. So after we have acceptance, what is another characteristic that we should possess? We should possess creativity. What does creativity represent within our lives and within the pantheon of the Veda philosophy? Brahma, the ability to create new things. The ability to see that same product and see the multitude of ways that one can use it. Within cells, clinging to old behaviors is not an option, such as liver cells performing 50 different functions. Such is the greatness of having creative power. That one person becomes so many different peoples and wears so many different hats. That one person, if we were to take Bhagwan has so many different hats, 330 million forms according to the Vedas. What is one of those forms? One of those forms is beauty. One of those forms is splendor. Define to me what is beauty. Don't show me what is beautiful, but define to me what is beauty, what is splendor. All of these things, if you are able to define it, then you are able to define what Bhagwan is. However, that's why it is so vague when we talk our philosophy to many people, because it cannot be just simply taught. It has to be practiced. It has to be experienced. And if we don't have that practice portion behind it, you would not feel the experience. Practice is an essential part of why many other religions, they are ordained that they have to pray X amount of times a day. Well, in our Vedas, it also tells us that we should perform Sandhya, morning, midday, afternoon. Do we perform it? We don't get the benefit of it. So then we ask the reason why. But the prescription is there, and we don't take it. And then we ask why we're sick. In the age of Kali Yuga, we're all spiritually sick. And what is the cure? Ab to dekh hamari हे मुरारी अब तो देख हमारी अब तो देख हमारी मुरारी अब तो देख हमारी जैसी लाज रखो अर्जुन की जैसी लाज रखो अर्जुन की खून न देने उभारी जैसी लाज रखे अर्जुन उभारी राधे 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 श्रीधर प्यारो हे विश्वभान दुलारी शरण में आए तुम्हारी मुरारी अब तो देख हमारी अब तो देख हमारी मुरारी अब तो देख हमारी. That when we have nothing else to hold on to, then we hold on to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. In some of the subsequent verses, it talks about Draupadi. When Draupadi was dragged into the hall and she was about to be disrobed, who did she look at? She looked at Bhim. She looked at Bhisham Pitamaha. She looked at so many great men surrounding that hall, asking them with her eyes to save her, also asking them physically for them to save her. However, no one came to her rescue. But when she invoked the presence of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, she was able to gain that darshan that was able to create that maya of endless cloth. And when we offer cloth, what is it significant of when we offer our puja? It is significant of protection. Everything that we do in part of puja has symbolism to it. It has necessary ingredients, like the pungi we offer. The mantra says that may I be able to digest all of these blessings. Everything that we do is so that our minds can be uplifted, that our minds can be changed. Fasting, all of these things. The fasting allows us to change our minds, because controlling taste is one of the most difficult tasks one is endowed with. And if you can control your taste, then you're able to control many other senses. That is the reason for fasting. The other task, the other characteristic that one should possess is efficiency. Depends the least amount of energy, and it depends on the least amount of it being provided for them. An example of that is a cell only stores about 3 seconds of energy. Efficiency within our lives if we want to be efficient at what we do, I beg and implore each and every one of you, when you offer all of your puja sarjam in the ocean or anywhere, do not litter. Anything that is not biodegradable, do not offer such items into the ocean. It is inefficient. It is inefficient to your puja, because you've just made all of these prostrations to Mother Earth. And then you go there again, and then you dump all of the garbage. It's okay to offer the mango leaves, the cotton, the yajopali. Those are all biodegradable. But don't put the foil, don't put the styrofoam plate, all of these things in. It is inefficient to what we do. It is inefficient to the entire process. All of your whole year you've planned for this puja. You've accomplished the puja. You've taken sankalp. All of your aims, goals, and intentions are infused into this puja. And then what do? You throw it all away. Even in the kund, not to make anyone feel bad, but I just want to ask each and every one of you, do you put foil paper within your kund, within your pots at home to cook? I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad. Please, don't think so. I want you to think of. I want to awaken this jigyasu, this inquisitive nature. Continue asking questions. Because by asking questions and asking the right sorts of questions, we get the right results derived. And so, who is that offering? That offering is Krishna. Who is the one who offers? That is also Krishna. Who is the mantra? That is also Krishna. So everything is Krishna, and you try your best to streamline everything and make sure that you are doing everything according to the laws of the land and the eternal laws which exist. Bonding. Bonding, you can also include it as part of satsang. Heart cells, liver cells, brain cells, muscle cells all contain the same genetic information. Just like each and every one of us, we have that single connection, which is Atma. However, communication is necessary. Yes? Communicating with each and every one of us is necessary for a society to function well and efficient. And being an outcast is not an option. Everyone has a stake in the game. In the Manusmriti it talks about even when someone is taxed. Everyone should be taxed, from the poorest person up to the richest person. Why? Because when we are taxed, we have a vested interest in the game. We have a vested interest in society. We have a vested interest in what is to become of this society. And if we look at these laws that were created in the time of Manu, we see the effectiveness, the efficiency, the brilliance behind it. No other dharma teaches you such things. Before there was a tax code, IRS tax code, we had one. Just to let you know. And so, the beauty of Satya Sanatana Dharma, it gives you the ability to seek the truth. It gives you the means through which you can be able to seek the truth. And it gives you the way that you should deal with it once you are able to receive that darshan of understanding that truth. We should be giving. The cell's primary activity is to give energy, nutrition, and genetic information to continue performing the duties for the body. Many a time these days when we give any type of dhan, we expect that there should be strings attached. That because I gave dhan to this mandir or this cause, if I gave $1 million or $10 million, then I have stake and right to be able to tell anyone what to do, tell anyone to leave X, Y, Z. That is not the case though. True dhan is that which is given without attachment. That which is given out of pure